we've lost the art of simplicity. We've got all that we have. As long as you're breathing, as long as you can eat, you've got a roof over, you're alive. And we've forgotten that. We're so materialistic. We're so focused on the future and what we're going to get and what that person's got, etc. But just focus on what you have. This fear was so real, and I felt so sick. And I used to go about my life every single day, feeling today I was going to die. That's how negative my mindset was. And they raised my hand in the air, the referee, and says, Gordon Burcham, world champion. And I've got the crowd in front of me, and I scream, and I'm crying, and I'm emotional, and I'm just letting all this out. And it wasn't because I won a world title, it wasn't because I won a world medal, because I'd finally beaten me, my demon, my biggest challenge in my life. And that was the day I was born into this world. Now, the Gordon Burcham you see now is when I was born in 2012 in Canada, and I got on the podium, and getting on the podium, and this exhilaration, this whole beating myself up, this whole journey of not loving myself. I could finally respect and love who I was.
Welcome to the Drop In with Pindi podcast from Warriors TMA Academy, a podcast for everyone from business inspirational leaders, combat sports enthusiasts, martial artists, and fitness fans. Together, we can build our self-discipline, confidence, and positive mindsets through great leaders. Now, here's your host, coach and former pro fighter, Pindi Matahar.
Welcome everyone here to the Drop In with Pindi podcast. Today I am absolutely delighted to be having in front of me Mr. Gordon Burcham, everyone. The reason I want to get Gordon on our podcast today is for you guys as listeners to be super inspired and motivated and hear about the methods that Gordon's put in his life, for him and his, more importantly, his family, to be where he is right here today in 2021, doing the amazing things he's doing, not only just in the martial arts industry, but outside of martial arts. But the bigger picture of it all is, the reason I want to do it is we've all had a real tough past year. And you've been very instrumental on your social media, which I always follow, and I think is great what you've done, and you've spoken out, which is great. But more importantly, the martial arts industry got affected a lot, but you willingly, openly gave so much advice out to everyone there, helping everyone. And no disrespect, but I've not known you very, very long. We've got to know each other recently a lot more. But ever since I've been reading your books and getting to know you, you've always been that character, that individual to help others. No matter what you're going through in your life, whether it's this, you're always still there helping others. And it's great to see. And that's the reason why I want to get you on here, because it's going to be an absolute honor to have you here. It's an absolute honor to have you here at the Academy as well, doing this podcast. So first of all, Gordon, welcome, and thank you so much for doing this.
Well, Pindi, that's a massive introduction. I've got to try and live up to that right now. But,
no, absolutely.
But no, it's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me in this wonderful facility that you've got
you.
here. It's really, really is amazing. And thank you for that introduction. You know, it's always a pleasure to help human beings. And if I can make a little impact on people's lives, that's always a good thing. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think you've made a little impact on everyone. So you've made a huge impact, and I think everyone that knows you, that you've helped in the martial arts industry, in the business industry, they're very, very thankful for it, including myself. So thank you for that, Gordon. But guys, I've read your book, Become a Black Belt in Martial Arts, in the business industry as well. And when I was reading it, I remember picking up the book years ago, and I remember reading it thinking, I'm going to learn everything about martial arts, but I didn't understand. When I picked the book up first to actually see what you actually went through in the past, I didn't realize your history, if I'm honest with you. And it took me by surprise. And I remember sharing the stories with Raj, my wife, and even she read it. And it's really inspirational, very emotional. Not gonna lie, very emotional. But I think that's what gave me the power to be like, wow, if you can do it, and you've gone through hell and back by having a wife and kids,
yes,
anyone could do it. But before we get into that, Gordon, let's hear about your history of why martial arts was a big part in your life, and what motivated you to get into martial arts, because it's not for everyone, is it? But
No, absolutely. And I mean, we all have a story. Every human being has a story. My story started when I was younger. As growing up, really, I found it very, very difficult, Pindi, growing up. I'm a bit different, a bit quirky. And at primary school, is where it really sort of started, the negativity, really. I really didn't understand who I was. I knew I was a bit different, and I always tried to fit in. At primary school, I was a bit different to everybody else. And I only had 2 friends, both were girls, and both used to beat me up. I remember that. And I also remember getting an earring at one time in my life at primary school, a big earring. I thought it was cool, and everyone took the mickey out of me. And I just always felt very different, very alone. Very placid young man, just had a lot of love, but was very alienated from people. I was always trying to fit in. And that definitely transpired when I went to secondary school. Secondary school, I very much felt like many times I'll be on my own, and I was trying to fit into groups, and I'd be there, but they'd take the pee out of me a little bit, and you know how it goes, I'd get called names and stuff. And I'd lived in a lot of fear, and it sort of ramped up when I started to get physically bullied. And it was a kid down my road, and he used to like batter me like really, really fiercely. I remember like many times I'd be down the park and I'd be playing football, and I'd see this kid walking down with a load of people behind me. I'd be like, oh no. And I remember the sicky feeling when the fear is running through your legs.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh no, here we go again. And I remember walking around the park for an hour, just trying to, like, in fear. I mean, like, where I was feeling sick. I'd stop there and he'd beat me up. And I remember one time I was outside my house and he punched me, kicked me, spat at me, stamped at me. And I remember running into my mum, and my mum's quite a strong lady. Running, I'd be crying like, oh, he just hit me. And my mum would crack me, get back outside, fight back. And then I'd be scared to go back outside.
Yeah.
This is how I lived. And I remember many times, Pindi, I was from secondary school, I remember riding the back way home.
Yeah.
And I'd be riding in fear, get home. What I'd do is I'd get down to my house, put my bike into a hedge.
Yeah.
And I'd run in, and I'd automatically go for where the videos were. If anyone's listening here, we used to have videos, right? So you get a video, put it in, and I'd always look for one that was like at least an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And I'd put it in there, and I'd sit there trembling, watching, but not watching the video. I'd be there thinking, please don't. And all I'd be thinking was, please, Mom, don't ask me to go outside. Because I'd get beat up again, or I was just, this is how my life
living
was.
in fear.
I'd choose it long enough so that it would go dark. So my mum wouldn't ask me to go outside. Why am I not going outside? Because she'd kill me. Like, why are you not going to get outside? You know. And my mum's a lovely woman, she's very strong, and I see how she's helped me through my life become stronger. But at the time, there's a lot of fear, and this was my life. Like, genuinely, I lived in fear. I remember one time, I'm walking like just at the top of my road, and I'm just walking along, and there's this double-decker bus comes past like that. I look up like this, and there's a guy looking out the window going, I'm going to kill you. And I'm thinking, who is that? I just had these people that just did not like who I was, because I was very different. And that was my life. I lived in fear, and I had that I've had it for a lot of my life. I remember I was 16, and a friend of mine, a bit of a hippie friend, big beard, long hair, and he come to I'd known him for years, and he came to the door and he says, I've just started kickboxing, been there for you, do you want to come? I said, you insane? Like, I'm scared of getting hit as it is. That's the last thing in the world I would want to do is martial arts.
Of course.
He said, come down to kickboxing, be all right. So I went down to the class and kind of got into it. But it was an interesting journey for me, because many people didn't. I only tell this story recently, really, but I used to go, like, I was sort of 16, nearly 17, and then I started to learn to drive. But the martial arts school was like 5 minutes from my house. Sometimes it'd take me 45 minutes to get there, because I drive to the place, and then as soon as I get there, I drive back, and I say, no, you can't, yes, you can, no, you can't, yes, you can. And I'd have this fear. And I'd sit outside, cry my eyes out, wipe my tears, and walk into the dojo, get battered, then come back out. And then I had this real fear. And I'm trying to magnify what this fear was so real. And I felt so sick. And I used to go about my life every single day, feeling today I was going to die. That's how negative my mindset was. But I was on this martial arts journey, and I remember going to my first sort of tournament, and my instructor encouraged me to go to this tournament. Right? I've been doing some sparring, and bear in mind, you're talking of a kid, 17, 18 years of age now, and he would go into the dojo fearful, and the last anyone would touch me, Pindi, I'd cry. You'd cry, like, and we'd be sparring and stuff, and it was like tackle your fear, but like I was just in this pain all the time and this fear. And I went to the first tournament. I remember at this tournament, so I don't know what's going on, right? So it's points fighting. So I remember getting ready to get onto the mats, right? And I'm a beginner, clearly, right? Gets on the mats, I looks up, and I swear it was Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, all in one, right? This guy, his arms are like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? He's ripped. I swear he levitated. He jumped up. He did like this kick in his. And I'm a beginner, and I looked at this guy, and I'm like, oh my God! And I goes on the mats, and as I got knocked down 10 times, and I mean 10. I remember it felt like I was being hit by a train, and I'd hit the floor, and that low self-worth. Again, of being beat up on the floor. And I got up, I cried on the mats. I'm 18 years of age, I think now, or something like that. I get smug gloves, I throw on myself, I'm not doing this again in tears. Yeah. It's on a Sunday. And on the Monday, I'd be back in the dojo. And I just had this, I don't know what it was.
What was driving you back to go? Keep going back? Like, so that happened on Sunday, Monday, you'd go back. It's
a great question. I think the fear got me back there. It's a real strain. Like I've always tried to work this out. Like because I was so scared, I had to go back so that I wasn't so scared. It was a really weird.
You're constantly having battles up it.
Battles. The internal battle, and I'd go back and back and back and I'd be and my sort of. I went to a tournament every Sunday. I remember going to a tournament every Sunday and get beat. And then I started to win a few tournaments. But here's where the mindset is fascinating. Everything that I won, the reason I won it was because the opponent had a bad day. The reason I won was because I ate something that was really good. The reason I won, it was always something external. It was a lucky day. You just got enough sleep that day. It was these excuses and reasons why I won. It was only a small tournament. It was a lucky draw. All this would go on. And I literally lived my life out like that. And, you know, I had so many battles with myself. So many. I'd do stuff in the dojo. I'd go to the tournaments. And my mindset was I was my biggest enemy. I was a world champion at knocking myself down, world champion at beating myself up, world champion at telling myself I was no good. You know, you're talking about a guy who hated his name, didn't love who he was, hated the person he's seen in the mirror, and used to feel he was going to die. That's what my life was like. And I held that inside for a long time. But on these tournaments and stuff, I used to go and fight all over, and I'd win some. And that was the dance, really. And I fought in some real quite high-level ones. And I remember, like, as part, I've got a few stories within the story, if you like. But the martial arts journey was fascinating because in 2012, in the February, I fought in the British Championships in Manchester. And I trained up quite well for it. I've got my instructor's called Alfie Lewis, who's a sort of world famous. And he always believed in me. And I never believed in myself. But we get to the British Championships and I fights everyone, beats them all and wins a British title. And again, of course, it was a lucky day. I got selected to go and fight for England and Canada. And I went and trained up for that. And I remember, to this day, I remember standing in the tunnels that go up to the plane to get on the plane with all the England team, all in the England tracksuits. And I'm there and I'm actually reading the paper and I looks up and I'm looking at the England team and I'm going, this is what I said to myself, what the hell are you doing here? Like, why are you here? Like, you're not going to win anything. So I had this is what was going through my head, right? Walks on the plane, I'm actually laughing. I think it's funny, right? So I goes on the plane, gets over there, and we get to the tournament. And I remember thinking, okay, here we go. Starts and gets through the first fight I had. I beats the guy from Ireland, great. Then Germany. Then I beat them. And then I fought a Canadian, and I beat them. And then I fought an American, and I beat them. And I'm like, I'm in the final in 2 days' time. I was like, wow. And these are big fights. This is a big tournament. It was a big tournament. And I was like, wow.
Representing England as well, yeah.
It was unbelievable. And then I remember we were sitting around in the reception area the night before the final. And I'm sitting there, and bear in mind that I've got a hip that's nearly falling off. I'm 35 years of age. the pain every day. I'd be every evening I'd wake up with like being stabbed in the hip. So I'm trying to stretch this hip out for the final. I'm in pain. I'm limping I'm around with Alfie Lewis and all the England team, and it was good. But I remember thinking, right, okay, at least you got this far. You're going to get a silver medal. So I start telling this, right? And I remember this vividly. I walks to the lift, and I gets in the lift, and I had a change in my mindset. I said, if you carry on doing this, you're going to get the same result. It's time to start believing. So I went and lay in my bed, and I started to visualize the day, visualize the fight in the final, visualize how I would feel. And I'd go over this all through in my head. I fell asleep visualizing, dreaming about how this fight would go. And I woke up in the morning with the most intense feeling of calm. And I was so relaxed. And I got up out and I was like, I'm going to have my shower. And I was relaxed. Normally I'd be, tense. Yeah. I got all my bag together. I mean, if I'd had an iron, I'd have ironed my socks. It was a bit like that. Everything was going to be like perfect. Went down, had some food, and I was relaxed. I stretched up. I was relaxed. And I gets onto the mats for the final. And as I gets on there, there's a carbon copy of the lad in my first ever fight in front of me. This young lad, he's 18, he's won everything. Wow. He's ripped, similar. It wasn't the same guy, but it was a carbon copy.
Right.
I'm 35, and this guy won everything. I was like, okay, here we go. And I gets onto the mats, and I go through there's a couple of rounds in the final. Gets through the first round. As I'm fighting, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm kind of there, but I'm not there.
Yeah.
And I sit down, and my instructor, Alfie Lewis, comes near me, and he looks at me, and he goes, look at the scoreboard, and I'm up on points. I'm winning. I'm like, wow, at least you won the first round. Right, so we're doing all right, okay. And then we get to the final round, and it gets on, and in the final round, I'm in this flow.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of there, but not there. And I remember standing there, and after the fight, and I'm there, and my right hand's here. And they raise my hand in the air, the referee, and says, Gordon Burcham, world champion. Wow. And I've got the crowd in front of me. And I scream, and I'm crying.
Wait.
And I'm emotional.
Yeah.
And I'm just letting all this out. And it wasn't because I won a world title. It wasn't because I won a world medal. Because I'd finally beaten me. My demon, my biggest challenge in my life. And that was the day I was born into this world. Wow. Now, the Gordon Burcham you see now is when I was born in 2012 in Canada. And I got on the podium, I remember getting on the podium, and this exhilaration, this whole beating myself up, this whole journey of not loving myself. I could finally respect and love who I was. At that moment was the change in me, and I went on from there to win 3 consecutive world titles. I fought everyone, beat everyone that was in my way. I went and built my businesses, built 2 businesses, and just went on this big mission then to serve and help others. So
and you're still going,
and still going,
and still going, But that's honestly, it's an amazing story. But just to kind of slightly rewind there, like obviously you were saying, at one stage you didn't even love your name, you didn't love yourself, and it's really like upsetting to hear. And like you're going through school, and school's a big part of everyone's life, and like that's where you decided later on in school what sort of journey you're going to go. Are you going to go college, university, become doctor, solicitor, whatever it may be, or go the other way and get an apprenticeship or whatever it may be. During that time, because there's a lot of children out there now, there's a lot of people out there now that are in the similar position. They're not loving themselves. They don't know what they want to do in life. They don't even know who they are yet. Does that make sense? Obviously, you were doing martial arts, but did you have any inkling that I'm going to be? I know you just said you were born in 2012, right there on that podium. But did you have any inkling that this is where you were going to be, or did you have it in your mindset? Oh, I'm just going to get a normal job, or what? Or does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. The answer is no.
Yeah,
because I didn't start martial arts till I was 16, and I started martial arts after I left school. Right. So through school, I hated school. Like I just wanted to get out of there. Like school was like, for me, it was so negative. For me, it had a negative impact. As soon as I left school, I literally a week after I left school, when you have the summer holidays, I got a full-time job. I didn't go back to school at all. I didn't even go back to get my grades. I wasn't interested in it. Like, it was like, wow. I wasn't very academic. I remember my teacher saying to me, Burcham, you'll amount to nothing in your life. Yeah. So I'm quite look forward to getting their address and sending my book.
Yeah, please do, please do.
But no, in all due respect, that it wasn't, I didn't think, I can honestly say where I am today, I would never have dreamed of it. Like, it wasn't part of the plan. And isn't that part of the dance of life? We don't know where life's going to take us. We don't know what I do know is we create our own destiny.
Absolutely.
Through the actions that we take.
Yeah.
And the fears that we face.
You did it in 2012 right there.
Yeah.
And it's all about attracting it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Visualizing it, attracting it, and we say it's like that law of attraction, the power of the universe. And you did that the night before your world title fight.
We are the creators. Yeah. And as soon as you realize that, and what I mean by we're the creators, we didn't create ourselves, but we create our present. We create the person, and we are so powerful. One of the big things I talk about, and I'm such a big advocate as, is you power. When we look externally for answers, it's very difficult to find them because they're all internal. All the answers that we could ever need, want, and desire are inside ourselves. Our genius. Our genius is ourselves. We are our genius. We have the answers. We have the knowledge. If you look at people who are hugely successful in life, they have the same 24 hours as you do. They have the same amount of time. They have the same amount. We all breathe the same air. We all bleed the same color. We're all the same. Fundamentally, human beings are all the same. The difference is how we think and how we feel. And more importantly, how we think and how we feel about ourselves. What do we believe? But we live in a world that's so external, Pindi.
I was going to say, I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. But there's a lot of people out there that don't think like that. And why do you think they're so influenced in my opinion, a negative mindset? Because I love what I do here on the mats. I love teaching martial arts. I love martial arts. I've done it since a kid. So when I see kids coming on the mats, when I see adults coming on the mats, all of a sudden I turn into, in a polite way, putting a kid and teaching my passion.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. But then there's a big society out there that are coming in, heads down, not happy with themselves. And why do you think that is in the world right now? What is it? Is it media? Is it what? Like,
yeah, they're externally referenced. They're looking for external. They're listening to the media. They believe. If you take teenagers, for instance, teenage suicide is the highest it's ever been. Very simply, the reason is because they don't love who they are. Yeah. They're trying to be somebody else. You look at Instagram. You look at all these things. They're all pouting and trying to, and they feel they've got to be a certain way rather than loving the person they were born to be. Who you are right now, your uniqueness is your gift, and the message I love to give people is that if I have embraced at the early age who I was rather than trying to be somebody else, I used to feel there was something wrong with me because I was different. What I didn't realize, I lose my keys, I lose my what. I'm a bit quirky. I forget things, right? Yeah, I'm a bit out there. I have no filter. But my uniqueness is my gift. Everyone here, most people on this planet are so busy looking at other people and thinking, I wish I was that. I wish I had the car. I wish I had that looks. I wish I had that body, etc. And they try and make themselves into someone they're not. You are who you are. And once you're trying to be somebody else, you're not living who you truly are. And that's where you feel you have this disproportionate, you disengage with who you really are. Embrace who you are. Look in that mirror every single day and love that person. Remember one thing, the most important story that was ever told is the one you tell yourself every single day. The story we tell ourselves. If I speak to, I reckon 90% of people are world class at knocking themselves down. I'm not good enough. Look at that. Look at how I look. Yeah, I can't do it. I don't believe all this stuff. It's just a story. Start to look at yourself and say, I am fucking incredible. I just love that human being who's looking in that mirror right now. I'm going to be everything that I am and more. I'm going to be the best version of myself, not the person that I feel, the person over there. And if the world started to embrace who they are and looked at themselves with love, with passion, and genuinely love themselves, you are so more powerful when you're in love with who you are.
Wow. Wow. Everyone listening right now, if you're not fucking motivated by that, I don't know what else you need, because I'm feeling alive right now and it's great. I fucking love it. Great stuff. Honestly, it's amazing. So in 2012, you won the world title. Was that the time you was becoming a martial arts instructor as well? Like, were you running a school at this point, or were you just teaching classes?
Yeah, I was already running a martial arts school, and I'd love to tell the story because
was this when you were on the
Well, it was before that.
Oh wow! Okay.
So in 14 years ago, I think it's 2008ish, something like that.
Okay.
2008. So I'm running a martial arts school, and this is kind of like, it's kind of spiked over here. So we've got the martial arts journey, as in being a fighter and martial artist.
Yeah.
But I had the business journey. And I'd started a martial arts school in 1999, I think, something like that. I had 2 members, took it over. And it was more like just like for me to train and stuff like that. And
sure.
Over a couple of years, we started to get kids in and sort of built this school up. And I was on this sort of mission to build a school. And I remember we had about 55 members, and I wanted to open a little full-time facility, and I found this old sports and social club, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't understand business, but I thought, right, I'll get a sports and social club, and we'll gut it out, turn it into a martial arts centre, and that's what we did. And in a 6-year period, I built the school from 55 members to 75 members in 6 years. And that was it. I was literally doing everything. I was trying to, being the coach, the mentor, I was doing the marketing, I was doing the account, I was doing everything.
Cleaning.
And I didn't have a clue. I didn't understand marketing, and I was literally pouring money into newspapers, but I didn't know what I was doing. And probably one of the worst times in my life was when I woke up one morning in 2008-9. I think it was early 2008. I turned to my wife as I woke up. I've got tears in my eyes. I turned to her and I says, we've lost our house that we built for 10 years. We'd had to get out. I was in debt up to the eyeballs. I was in a bit of a mess. I went to the bank manager and I said to the bank manager, can we have another £200 on the overdraft so we don't go over the overdraft? And he put his glasses down. He leaned back in his chair, folded his arm, and he had a smirk on his face. And he says, we're not lending you anything. You'll be bankrupt in 2 months. And I was like, because he was smirking at me. And I walked out of there with my wife. I remember it today, and we had to get out of the house. We'd lost the house. It was our home, and we built for, mortgaged, and we had to get out. We had to move into the cheapest 3-bedroom house on the street. I remember going to it, and I had to get rid of the car, and I had the oldest Mondeo on the planet, and it stunk. And I was in a bit of a bad place then, Pindi. I was drinking heavily. I was doing a few drugs and stuff like that as well, just to kind of numb the pain, just to suppress. And I remember there was paperwork everywhere, and this was my life at that time. So at that time, and bear in mind, there's the battle with the martial arts that you can see how it all comes in, didn't believe. And I would go to the bank every single day with a couple of pound coins that I managed to get to put it in the bank so it wouldn't go over the overdraft every day. And we were eating beans on toast. We'd have, sometimes we'd have pasta with some sort of tomato sauce, and we'd melt cheese on top so it tasted nice. We had £25 to live on for food for me and my family. And it was really tough. Like, it was just an absolute mess.
How many, if you don't mind me, how many kids did you have around?
We had one with one coming on the way. Wow. And it was a real tough time. We'd lost literally my self-worth. Honestly, when I look back there, I can't believe I'm still here.
Yeah.
And something happened. I was looking for something when I wasn't off my face a little bit at the weekends and week and stuff like that. And I remember looking, and an email comes in, and an email came in about, help you build your martial arts school. This sounds great, right? So I was like, this sounds great. Perfect. So I get on the call. I think I filled in a few things, got a bit of a, it was that internet marketing thing, got a download, then I got onto a call with them. And this guy, I really resonated with him. And he said, he goes, what do you want to earn? I said, well, we're doing about £2,800 a month, as in turnover in the business. And that didn't even cover the rent and the rent for our house. So we were in debt still, and it was going down and down. I said, £10,000 a month would be brilliant. My wife doesn't work. She's got a kid on the way. That's all we've got. We haven't got enough money to cover the bills. £10,000 a month. And he says, I reckon with enough energy, you could get there in 18 months. This is amazing. How do we start? He goes, it's £3,000 for 3 months. Now, this is 14 years ago.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to do that when I'm, So I remember putting the phone down, I can't do that. And then I remember thinking, like, I need to do something different here. So I'm going to lose the martial arts, everything. I don't know where I'm going here. This is not looking good. So I remember we sold some stuff in the house, bought a little bit of money, a small bit of money off the in-laws, and we just ploughed it in and hoped for the best. And interestingly, so we're waiting in this spare room of this 3-bedroom house, and me and my wife were waiting for this phone call. The phone is on the bed, and we're in the spare room, and we're lying on there, and the guy's going to call at 11 o'clock, and he gets 11:15 after we've paid the money. There's no phone call. I phoned him, the phone's dead. I phoned him again, the phone's dead. Text message, no reply. Gets to like 20 to 12. I'm like, oh my God, man, we've just been done over. That's what you think, right?
Yeah,
you got everything into it. Anyway, he phones. He ends up phoning. I pick up the phone. Where are you, right? Yeah. He goes, I'm really sorry. I was stuck in a snowstorm. I have to reschedule the course. Oh my goodness, right? Thank goodness for that. So we got into this. I remember it today. And we got onto this call, and he says, we got onto our first call, and he says, right, because what do you want to do? I told him we want to earn $10,000 a month. So what do we need to do? And literally, we turned our business upside down, and we had to change our marketing strategy, work on new ways of doing things, cash injection to the business. And in 2.5 months, we turned it into a £2,800 a month business to over 10K a month business in 2.5 months.
In 2.5 months.
And we worked 16 hours a day on that business. We transformed what it was. But what was really interesting was this. I had a big revelation at that point. It's like, wow, I've only done that in 2.5 months. I realised the importance of education.
Okay.
It's not that you can't, it's that you haven't learned it yet. And once I learned that, I was like, wow, if people remove the word I can't and say I haven't learned it yet, because we can all learn. When we use the word can't, it cuts everything off. But when we say haven't learned it yet, who can I learn from? And I just went on this massive journey, Pindi, for the last, since today, till today, on coaches, mentors, to go into events. I've invested at least £300,000 in mentors, coaching programs, and just gone on this massive to make myself better. I had a life coach for 5 years to help me realise, which was part of the transition. All part of this journey.
Oh, wow.
Life coach, really working on my inner demons, the beliefs that I held, that I learned from a kid, that I wasn't good enough, the inner challenges, all of that stuff started to break down and start to really work on myself. And I've been on this mission of learning and growing, and built my business now, and I've run a couple of businesses, and I have the privilege now of helping martial arts business owners and people on a personal level to transform their lives through education, to help them. One of the biggest parts of that journey is personal development.
Absolutely.
Work harder on yourself than anything else. Work harder on yourself than you do your job.
Yes.
Work harder on yourself than you do your business. Because once you work hard on yourself, once you become the person that you were born to be, once you polish that diamond that you are, you will sparkle on this world.
Absolutely. That's so, honestly, you hit the nail on the head right there, saying can't. It's about, and so many people do that. I'm guilty of that. Can't do that today now. Like,
we have to ask ourselves. Sorry to interrupt. We have to ask ourselves better questions.
Yeah, you're right.
And the question is, what do I need to do? Who can possibly help me?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where am I going? What do I need to change? They're better questions. What do I need to? What do I need to become? There's a great quote I heard a few years ago, which has always resonated with me. Which is an amazing quote. How would the person I want to become do the thing I'm about to do? What a great question. What a great question.
That is.
So everything you do in your life, remember, you've just got to become it. That's it.
Yeah.
We teach our kids in our martial arts school very simply, right? How would the black belt I want to become do the technique I'm about to do?
That's a great question.
Because if you live it now, you become it.
It's true.
And you've got to ask yourself better questions, because the answer lies within,
That's true.
I wrote a book called Live Life Happy, which is all about.
Was that last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wrote a book called Live Life Happy. My dad died 20 months ago. He's my hero, and it was. I mean, he had a myotonic dystrophy, and he had a muscle wasting disease, which basically he just, he ended up for a couple of years on a peg, couldn't eat. He was just eating for a peg. And he's like a hero of mine, same name as me. His name's Gordon as well, right? And I remember I was in Devon, and my mum phoned me and said, "Your dad's fell down the stairs and broke his neck." And I had to get back to see him in hospital, and they said he'd be okay and he'd be all right. He broke his neck and this thing like that, and you see your pops there in his bed, and I said he seemed okay, and they said, "I'll be fine. I'll be going home in a few days, but we need to look after him." And it's at 4:00, and I went back and then to watch the football, and at 8:00 they phoned me and told me he died. And that was horrendous. I remember like, whoa, these challenges come in life, right? And it was a low point. And I remember going to see him, and he was lying there as they do. He looks real calm, and I remember promising that I was going to put his name in lights. And so I flew to France, and I wrote a book in his name called Live Life Happy, because I was like, well, I want to. My dad was everyone loved my dad. Everyone loved who he was, and it was like, well, okay, how can my dad would love to achieve more things than he did in his life, and it was like, I'm going to use this as an inspiration. And the book is all about living life happy, living life. You don't know when life is going to be gone. But we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, the next day, the next year. People are so busy waiting to be happy in the future. I'll be happy when I get to there. I'll be happy when I get there. When our true gift is in the present, every single day. And the book is based around getting up every single day and living it on purpose, living it to the fullest. Don't listen to your bullshit. Step up to life, step up to the challenges, and be grateful for what you have. And that's what the book was all about, and is in his name. So, yeah, it's important in this world, that we can live a happy life. And we're going back to what you were saying about the young kids. We're so busy focused externally, we forget the gift that we have right now. As long as you're breathing.
Yeah.
It's going to be a phenomenal day.
Yeah, it's so true.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Look what's going on in the world right now, all over the place. And we're very lucky here in the UK that we still wake up and we're breathing. Eyes are open. We can still go to work and do X, Y, and Z that we need to do. It's so important. And I think people forget how lucky they really are, if that makes, they
do, Pindi, and I think the problem is in the Western world, we live like kings and queens, but we feel like we're hard done by. We have lost the art of gratitude.
Yes.
We like in the UK, think about in the UK, in America, like kings and queens, man.
Yeah.
You go to a deprived African country or, Middle East or wherever.
Of course.
Have a look at these places, man.
Kids are playing with mud and
India, some of the places, man, they've got
mad.
nothing, but they're smiling more than they do in
America?
It's because they've lost the art of gratitude. We've lost the art of simplicity.
Yeah.
We've got all that we have. As long as you're breathing, as long as you can eat, you've got a roof over your life. And we've forgotten that. We're so materialistic. We're so focused on the future and what we're going to get and what that person's got, etc. But just focus on what you have. And for me, I every single morning, like I teach that in the book, actually. Get up in the morning. Like, if you wake up, it's going to be a phenomenal. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for the sky. I run with my arms out. Every single morning, I run with my arms out. Like, I'm so grateful. Thank goodness I'm here again.
Absolutely.
I'm here. Let me embrace this. And, I sit there and I do a bit of meditation, and I'm just so, wow, thank you so much for being here. That gratitude. Everything else is just part of the journey. It's part of the dance.
Yeah.
And if we can start to, as human beings, start to just focus on the gift that we were given, we made it here again for one more day. Imagine what the world would be like.
Yes.
If we celebrated living.
Yep.
Instead of trying to celebrate the car that we got or celebrating the home that we've got.
They're materialistic.
Absolutely. And start to focus on that. You will live a life with true abundance.
True.
And true love.
Yeah.
And there's something I would like to share here. One of the ways that you can create the changes in your life is through something called changes that I created. Okay, and it's made up. It's just an acronym. So changes is number one, choice.
Yeah.
The C is for choice. Remember, our power is choice. We create choices. Our power as a human being, we're the only animal on the planet that has the ability to choose.
Yeah,
If you're a goose, you can't fly north in the winter. You have to fly south. Got no choice. Human beings can change the direction of where we want to go through the choices. If we're not happy, choose to do something different. People say, well, oh, it's not my fault. Yes, you chose to, I didn't choose to have the car accident. You chose to go in the car.
Yeah.
Own your choice. I'm not saying that's great, by the way.
No, of course. But
we're choosing.
Yes, absolutely.
We're choosing every day the partner we're with. We're choosing the job that we don't like. We're choosing the income that we're creating. It's our choices. We go, actually, you know what? My power is my choice. I'm going to make different choices. Imagine if you made better choices, the choices you wanted to make.
Absolutely.
So that's the C is for choices. The H is for happiness. Is to do things that make you happy. As every day you go, right, I'm going to do everything that makes me happy. People say, well, you can't do it. You can't be happy all the time. Who made that choice? I'm going to be happy doing the things that I'm doing. I'm going to do the things that make me happy. If the music makes me happy, I'm going to do that. Happiness is as important as oxygen.
Yeah.
Many people walk this world so unhappy. They look like they're dying. Like if you go up to the cities and the towns, you look at them, they've lost that art of gratitude. They've lost that art of happiness. They don't smile.
Heads down as well. And it's
heads down in here. But it's because of the choices that they make.
Yeah.
If we can own that and say, you know what? I choose today to live a phenomenal day. I choose today to smile more. I choose today to live with abundance. You will live that. And if
something is linked to that, something I always make a conscious effort of doing. So since the weather's been on form, I'm always walking here. So it's a 45-minute walk. But everyone who I walk past, I'm always like, morning. Always make that effort. Try and put a smile on their face. Yeah. I get blanked half the time.
Of course.
Yeah, but the ones that say morning back, a little old lady, I'm good morning. And it's like, it's immediately she could be going through whatever she's going through.
Yep.
But I've put a smile on her face because I've said, good morning.
I love that.
Does that make sense? And it's so
100%.
important. We need to do that. It's so important.
Happiness is as important as oxygen. So do the things that make you happy. If you're not happy with it, change it. Make the choice to change.
Definitely.
So the H is for happiness. The A is for affection and love. Yeah. So our love is the most powerful energy in the world. It's in the universe. It's one. If we can start to love others, if we can start to love ourselves, we can love others more. And if the world was full of love, how powerful will we be? And that love is so important. So I always say, start the day and continue the day with affection and love for others, and love yourself. Love that human being that you look in the mirror every single day. Look at it and kiss yourself is really important. The N is for never judging. Never judge others and never judge yourself. Don't be your worst critic, be your biggest fan. If we can start to be that every single day, if you start to celebrate the successes that you had yesterday, if you start to celebrate the small wins and start to say, man, you were incredible. Imagine how people would feel if they start lifting themselves up rather than putting themselves down. So never judging. The G is for gratitude. Being grateful for who you are, being grateful for what you have, being grateful for the life that you live. Gratitude, as we said in the Western world, is so missing. If we can live a life of being grateful for the money that we have, for the food that we eat, okay, we live a better, much more fulfilled, happy life. Two more. The E in changes is for energy. Remembering that we create the energy in our soul. The endorphins in our body make us feel, put us in a great peak state, allow us to feel better. And I'm a big advocate of moving your body, getting yourself going. When you feel flat, if you feel flat, anyone listening on this, right, jump in the air, get some music on, right? Literally put your favorite music on and push your hands in the air, or go and punch some bags or do whatever. You'll also realize you'll change your state in an instant through the energy. What's fascinating for me is that so many people, they'll go, well, I exercise twice a week. What, you only want to feel great twice a week? How about 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day? How about just jumping in the air? Move yourself, because our greatest gift is the endorphins. The greatest drug is our endorphins.
Absolutely.
People drink and do drugs. I've been there, right? I haven't drunk for 11 years. Right?
That's amazing.
And,
amazing.
And because the reason being is because I just get myself into different energy states. I make myself feel, I've got away from that habit, and I'm just, you know what? I don't need to change. And here's the big thing here, guys. I don't want to lose the feeling I've got right now, because I create that love, that energy, that passion, that happiness. Why would I want to change it through a drug?
Exactly.
We've got our greatest drug. Move your body, get it going, guys. Create the endorphins. We all know you feel great after exercise. How about you do it 2, 3, 4 times a day? You don't have to go on a massive run, but you can just get your body ticking. I do a mile every single morning, not to get fit, to spark my energy, to spark my soul.
It's meditation.
Okay?
It's a form of meditation.
I want to set myself up to win today because it may be the last. Exactly. So energy, and the final one in changes is self-improvement, self-development.
Absolutely.
Developing your body and your mind. Working on your body for your strength and working on your mind. What are you listening to? What are you reading to? COVID's brought, many people have been conditioned with the media. They're listening to the media.
Yeah.
They believe what they say. Be very careful what you pull in your ears. Be very careful what you put in your eyes.
Absolutely.
The more you become what you look at and what you listen to. Be careful. Absolutely. What are you reading every single day? What are you watching every single day?
That's going in, isn't it? That's going in. It's mad.
I'm always listening and reading to new things. I'm always on a discovery of how to be a better person. Not what the BBC says. This pandemic that we've just come through, people are being conditioned to listen to the negative narrative. That's what it is. I think, and they're conditioned to believe it. How about believe your own story? You don't have to believe someone else. Don't borrow theirs. Borrow your own.
Absolutely.
So the constant never-ending improvement is important for your soul to lift you higher, to be motivated. Yeah. I listen to people who motivate me. I want to make sure that I'm top form every single day. What am I reading? What am I listening to? What am I becoming?
Yes.
To self-development. And that's part of the changes.
Absolutely. I think that's absolutely amazing. And it's funny, you were talking there just now about movement, about exercise, about doing X, Y, and Z, and everything you're doing, and what we're attracted in us. I.e., if you're one of those people that don't exercise, or you're one of those people that have had a late night but you're getting up and immediately the first thing you do is stick the news on, what have you already started your day like? Does that mean? And it's so true. And I honestly, I was watching the UFC a couple of months ago, and this is when one of the young ladies, Doug Rose, she was fighting. She trains under Greg Nelson in Minneapolis, and she gave a great speech after her fight. She won the world title. It was a great win with a knockout left kick. And she said, if everyone in the world did martial arts, and that's what she's aiming to do, if everyone in the world did martial arts, the world would be a much better place and a happy place. And her target now is what she's going to continue competing, but she's trying to open martial arts schools here, there, and everywhere, because she believes that the youth of this next generation needs to do martial arts in order the world to be a much happier place. And you've hit the nail on the head right there again. People need to be moving. So people walk into this academy sometimes a bit down, they've had a hard day at work and stuff, but I can guarantee one thing, they're walking out with a huge smile on their face and everything.
100%, mate. And here's the thing. It's the choices that we make. If you're listening here, I believe most people know what they need to do. But they're not doing it. They know they need to move their asses. They know they need to eat better. They need better choices. What choices are you making? It's easy, and it's only small. Do I have the burger or not? Do I go to McDonald's or not? It's a choice.
True.
Remember, choices are hugely important for the destination of life. Where's it going to take you? It's the compound effect of the choices that we make every day, single day, that'll get us to our destination or repel us from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really important.
I think it's great. And with yourself personally, Gordon, it's amazing what you're explaining to myself, the audience, and how many people you've helped. But would you say you found all of this through your martial arts journey as a martial artist, not necessarily a school owner, as a martial artist? So is that when you think you found, I know you said 2012 was a big turning point and you were born.
Yeah.
Would you say everything that you're achieving now and everything you're doing, was that as a martial artist or as a school owner?
Martial artist, 100%. Martial arts changed my life. I mean, I run businesses, but I'm a martial artist through and through. It changed my life for training so many different styles. And all of it's building blocks. All of it's a building block. And is it martial arts alone? No, it's personal development as well. Yeah. So, and it all intertwines. Yeah. But I believe martial arts and life are parallel. It's the same thing. I mean, if you look at martial arts, martial being in warrior, art being the art form, the beauty. If you think of anyone who says martial art is black belt, for instance, they think of someone being strong and powerful, right? But if you look at martial arts, it's always about warrior, isn't it? Fighting someone. Now that's you are trying to defend, evade, get knocked down, get back up. Isn't that life?
That's so true.
Isn't the challenges of life, the winds of life? They're blowing us all, by the way, guys. Yeah. The same wind blows on us all.
Yeah.
Right? The winds of challenge, the wind of difficulty, the winds of pain, yeah? We have all these things that happen to every single one of us. But it's not what happens to us, it's what we do with what happens to us that makes the difference. And we've got to remember, so every challenge that comes in, we've got to learn to evade it. We've got to learn to duck, bob and weave. We've got to learn to parry it. We've got to learn to counter it. So life and martial arts are all the same. I use martial arts as a metaphor for life constantly.
Always. Yeah.
We're all going to be, don't ever feel that you are alone here, guys. I'm still dealing with this just like everybody else.
Yeah.
So is Pindi. Every single human being has the negativity sometimes you've got to battle. You've got to battle through that. You have the challenges that are sometimes bigger. In your world, they're bigger than anybody else's. And but it's what you do with that. It's how you deal with that.
Absolutely.
It's how you get through that. That's of most importance. And martial arts can help you get through that.
Yeah.
Because it teaches you every time you get knocked down, you get back up. That's how you win.
Absolutely.
You get back up again. You get it back up faster. You learn to evade and evolve and find solutions.
Yes.
You have to on the mat. And in life, don't we have to find solutions? No matter how big the challenge is, there is always a solution. And there was always a way. Yeah. And write this down if you're listening right now. There's always a way. There's always a solution to every problem.
Yes.
We've just got to be willing to tackle that and find a way. Because once we have that mindset, once we can go through and build up resilience, we can become anything we want.
Anything. I 100% agree with you. I think it's so inspiring hearing everything what you're saying right there. With it, we've had a crap year in terms of with the pandemic, the coronavirus, blah 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 blah, all sorts. And you just said it. We're all human. You're human. I'm human. Listeners out there are human. We all have low times. I had my low time is just after Christmas one day, announced lockdown 3, and I was like, I was just like, honestly, I said, turn around to my wife, and I was like, are you for real? I've tried to keep building this place up, and we keep getting knocked down and keep getting knocked down. And you have your low times, and obviously, Gordon, yourself, you've had ups and downs, but how do you now tackle it? Knowing everything you know now, you're still human. Get that. How do you tackle it on a psychology, on a mental basis, on a psychology basis, and all that?
Yeah, sure. I go back. There's a couple of things I want to share with you here.
Yeah.
First of all, it is always the self-talk. It's what you're saying to yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to have them times where you just say, oh, it's all going to, no, shut up, stand up, come on. You're amazing. Look where you've got to keep going back. This is a constant until you die, guys, until we all pass.
It's a battle.
It's a constant battle. Don't think you're ever going to solve it. Right?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. When lockdown 1 happened,
Yes.
I could see what was happening. I helped martial arts school owners across the UK and around the globe. And here's what happened. When it was coming, I'm very good at seeing what's going to happen. I could see this was going to go bad. I could see where it was going. I was preempting with my team. I said, look, this is going to be bad. I knew they were going to go on the planes. I could feel it. I was listening to the narrative thinking, right, okay, because I don't watch the news. I pinpoint things to try and make up the story and work out where that's going to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
So I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen. So we were prepared. So it was like, as soon as it went bang, closed down, we were doing a grading and they announced it. We had a grading the next day. We had to close it down. And I remember going, right, there's going to be some hurt martial arts schools here. And literally it was like, right, find a solution. What's the solution? I remember having it with the team. Yeah. We jumped on and we just helped loads of martial arts schools find a solution, go on to Zoom. None of them had done Zoom. None of them were techie. And we just built and helped the martial arts industry really, because I was like, well, everyone's going, it's going to be a nightmare. I'm like, here's an opportunity. Let's go. We can create more now. This is our time to step up as an industry. So I did all that stuff. But what happened was in the late April, beginning of May, I had I imploded. And I was giving to so many people, which is my human nature. People know me, know.
That's what you're
I'm born to do that. Yeah. And I literally got to a point where I was like, I had I also started shaking, these uncontrollable shakes. I was like, what is going on here? And I had a night, I sleep like a baby. I couldn't sleep. I was awake. I was wired. I had so much fear going through my body. I got up and I had a little bit of brandy to see if I could sleep, and I spat it out. I don't drink, right?
Yeah.
And I sat there trembling, and I was like, "What the hell?" And I was it felt like I was having a breakdown, and I was like, "Whoa!" And I had to dig into my personal development arsenal. I said, "Whoa!" So I did something called tapping, which is basically releasing the energy channels, which is really powerful for releasing the anxiety. And I went, right, what's happened here? What do I need to change? Great question, right? And what I realized was this thing, I had passed over my certainty. I had no certainty. I'd passed it over to Boris Johnson, Matt Hancock, and the government.
Yes,
I was waiting constantly for what was happening next and realised, whoa. Certainty is created within. I made a decision. I don't care what they're going to do. I am certain I'm going to be successful through this pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm certain that we're going to not only survive, but we're going to thrive through it.
Yeah.
I made the decision that if it's to be, it's up to me. I made a decision that I'm going to create it. I'm the creator. And I remember going back, it's like of course.
Yeah.
The certainty's gone. I'm looking over here again. This is why I talk. Look inside yourself. What's the solution? And I went from that day and went, and that, I hope that helps, but that's what I did. I looked within.
You have to remind yourself.
Yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was like, right, let's go. If it's to be, it's up to me. Let's go and find the solutions.
Yes.
Because in life, Pindi, and this is great for everybody to remember, life is balance.
Yes.
For every sunshine,
Yes.
there's darkness. For every rain, there's summer. For every winter, there's summer. You know, all this stuff, right? If you look at life, everything is about what goes up comes down.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
Your heartbeat goes up and down.
Yeah.
Everything has balance. So when you're having a tough time, my friends, if you're listening right now, you're having it tough, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
I am so excited for you. Let me tell you why. Because you will always get equal upside to balance you out. The good times are coming. They are coming. They're going to come in. If you're having it really dark and really tough and really challenging, you're going to bounce back up like a ping pong ball. If you push it down a little bit, it bounces a little bit high. But if you really smash it down, it will bounce up the same
higher,
with the pressure you put on it. And that's what's great about life. It's balance. And we've got to realize that life is the journey of life. Yes, you're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. It's how we ride the waves. It's how we weather the storms. It's how we realize bad times don't last forever and neither do good times. We're going to have this and realize and embrace it. This is part of the journey.
Yes.
So it's a frame that we put on it. And I think if we can put a frame and realize it's just part of the journey, because if it was all good, we wouldn't understand the difference, like good and bad. You need evil and you need good to understand how good really is.
True.
You know,
True.
you
So
need
true.
the evil stuff there. You need the dark times to understand and really appreciate the good. And if you start to embrace that and realize life is full of surprises. Yeah. We've got to learn to discipline our disappointments. We've got to learn to embrace the journey that all the challenges that we face are designed that way so that we can learn, grow and evolve to become the person that we truly are. Through the pandemic, Pindi, how much more stronger are you through the pandemic?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Did you have the podcast before?
No.
Now he's got a podcast now.
There you go.
This is
There
what
you go.
happens.
Yeah.
We evolve as human beings through the biggest challenges we face.
So true. Very, very true. I think it's absolutely amazing. Linked with the pandemic. So I think it was last year or the year before, I was looking at your social media. Now, before the whole pandemic and lockdown happened, I came to your academy, G-Force in rugby, guys. If you're in that area, or even if you're not, please take a visit. It's an amazing academy. And I saw your setup and it's absolutely amazing. You've got your actual martial arts academy on one side, and then on the opposite side you've got your conference room where you do your seminars for business and martial arts owners around the UK that come and travel down and see you, and you teach them and you develop them to where they are today. And I was thinking, man, this is amazing. And then didn't go to your academy for a bit, and then I saw you went to Tony Robbins' seminar and you've come back and you redid everything. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And it's like, you're constantly, in one way, it's a great thing, but you're never satisfied. You always want to go bam, 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 build. So me as an outsider looking in, I'm thinking, man, this is amazing. Something one day I'd love to achieve something like this, but you're not satisfied there and you went away, self-developed yourself even more, come back and you done it. What was all that about, if you don't mind me saying? Because I think I love it. Like I want to hear about what motivated you to do that and see someone like Tony and
amazing. Yeah, I mean, for me, it goes back to the time when we lost our house and then we got the coach and it's like for things to change, you've got to change. You know,
absolutely.
If you're growing, you're alive.
Yeah.
If you're static, you're dying. There's nothing else. And for me, I want to keep growing and evolving and experiencing life to its fullest.
Yes.
I want to become more. I want to go not for anybody else, but to experience what's it like to have a big facility. What's it like to have a different home? What's it like to, go and travel on an adventure to go and see Tony Robbins for 5 days in business mastery? Do you see what I mean? How good can we really get? It's big. There's no limit except the one we impose on ourselves every single day. I want to be limitless.
Yeah.
I want to go and experience it because it always comes back. People ask me that question sometimes. Like, what motivates you? This is living. Living is experiences, you know, and to experience new things and grow and evolve. I think if you're growing, you feel accomplished, you feel alive. You know, if it's you tweak your cafe or you put some more mats down there, it's never enough. Of course it's not enough because it's enough when you die.
Well,
You're finished. If you're growing,
yeah.
you're evolving, you're becoming more. And the only limit, as I said, is the one you impose on yourself. How big can you get? How much can you grow? And so the motivation is always the next level, leveling up, becoming more. Can I become a better father? I want to become a better business person. I want to be a better giver. I want to give to more humans. I want to be a better entrepreneur. I want to have a better facility. I want to have a bigger home. I want to go and experience more travel. I want, of course, because that's part of life. Doesn't mean it's not greed. It's about experience.
Yes.
How can I experience this?
Yes.
You know, and when you experience life, you live into the full. If you experience new things. But if you look at people who are depressed, they're static. They're not moving forwards. They'll knock other people down because, oh, wow, that person only wants some money, or they need to slow down a little bit. And it's because they I want to stay here and safe. But you're not safe. You're dying. You're not really safe. It's an illusion. But when you can step up and challenge yourself and grow and evolve, you experience a life to its fullest. And that's...
I love it. I think it's great. I absolutely love it. Is there any individual that inspires you that you be like, man, like sometimes you're feeling low in yourself and you maybe go on to
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube or something, and you'd be like, I just needed that 5 minutes.
I love philosophy.
Okay.
I love philosophy, and for me, my favourite of personal development is Mr. Jim Rohn, who is my favourite philosopher. His philosophy. Yeah. And he is one of the innovators of who I really am. And the learnings, I would constantly listen to him. I've listened to him for the last 13 years or whatever, you know. I wish I'd have met him. But his look out on life, philosophy of life and how you live life and how you achieve and dream. And for me, if I want a bit of a pep talk, it's Mr. Jim Rohn. If I want some motivation, it's Les Brown. If I want growth, it's Tony Robbins. You know, these are the people that I think about. But the people that inspire me most are my family, my kids, my wife. You know, they are my inspiration to become more and be more and
absolutely
give. And for me, the giving element of self comes from my father. He's just a lovely human being. And for me, you know, giving my inspiration in life, apart from obviously, like as I said, my family, but what inspires me to become more is helping other people. Like 100%. If I can help, I mean, I have a mission every day. I want to help 5 people every single day just because. That's it. That's all it is. If I help 5 people, I have to help 5 people every day. Whether that is just I've picked them up, I've had a conversation, I've had a phone call, or I've done a Zoom call, or I've picked someone up in a shop, or whatever that is, I feel like I'm living.
Perfect. That's awesome. That's absolutely amazing. And linked with your father, if you don't, like, obviously, he's seen you grow up, obviously, it's your dad. He's seen you go through all that hardship of being bullied or being knocked down constantly, but you're always getting up. Same with your mum. And now seeing your life turned around, a full 180. How was that for them? Like, I bet they were absolutely loving it with your mum and dad. And did they get to see the academy?
They
all
did.
Of it
My dad was he used to love coming over to the academy and having a look. And we used to run tournaments there when pre-pandemic.
Oh, awesome.
He used to love coming over and just sitting there. You know, he loved it. My mum. They're both so very proud of what we've obviously, because it's very different to that lifestyle. Like, I'm very different to my family. Yes. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not the same. I'm like
didn't get a 9 to 5.
No, it's not. I'm very different, which had its challenges because I am, but he's very proud, and I know he's with me every day. He's with me, and for me, you know, going back to when he did pass away, I'm more determined to experience life than ever. I'm more, you know, we've just built our own home, and you know, and that was for no other reason. I wanted to create an experience. My dad would love that. He's with us now. Like he would love to go and whoa, he just loved it, and you know. He taught me one thing, to live, you know, when he passed, like to live life to its fullest now, today, right in this moment.
Not tomorrow,
Not
not
tomorrow.
next week,
No, please, guys, if you're listening in right now, today is your gift.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not set. The future, we've never known where that's going to go.
Yeah.
Please smile, live more, breathe more, give more, love more. That's all we need.
That's it. And guys, if you, when you're listening to this at home or watching it on YouTube, whatever it may be, guys, honestly, do something right now, this very second, that will change your life. Do something. Get off that sofa or do something. Go for a walk, a simple walk. Get some air and fresh air. As soon as that fresh air hits you, wow, you feel like alive again. Does that make sense? Just do one little thing. Yeah. One little thing, little baby steps, and that'll, by doing baby steps. Oof.
It seemed interesting. If you like, I love the phrase "feel the fear and do it anyway."
Yeah.
You know, the fears that you have. The only way that the only way you'll stop a bully is by facing that bully. Yeah. The only way any fear will follow you around until you step up and face it. You know, I remember doing flying lessons. I fly planes.
Oh wow!
And I do that because I'm scared of heights.
Oh, fair enough.
So like, let's fly that. Let's go and fly that Cessna, right? Wow. And when you're taking off on the runway and you're there, and the pilot's there, your instructor's there, and he's like, go on then, keep going. You've got to use your feet there to move it, and you're like, what's going on? And you pull on the throttle, and as you're going up like this, he smashes your hand. One hand only, like fucking one hand only, like this, and you're flying. He's like, right, no, I see. Stop gripping it with your fingers. You got to fly with your fingertips, like whoa, like this. You're flying, and it's like, well, but you know what? You do it again and again, and all of a sudden you start to learn to land, and you're coming in, you're like, whoa, this is some heavy stuff. But you know what? We are so amazing. We are unbelievable. There is no limit, guys, to what you can achieve. Stop creating the barriers. The fears are bullshit. Yeah, they are bullshit. They're false evidence appearing real. It's not real. Fear is not real. It's your creation. And guess what? You're the creator. You can create it differently as well.
Absolutely.
You can step up. And the way you do that, do something that scares the shit out of you every single day, you'll feel alive.
Yeah.
You will feel alive and you'll start to believe. And that's what life's all about.
Amazing, Gordon. Thank you so much for your time today. Gordon, just before we finish it there and wrap it up, where can everyone follow you? Because guys, I really recommend following Gordon on all the social media platforms you got, because on a daily basis, you're always posting. You're very vocal, which I love. Straight to the point. But more importantly, you're helping on a daily basis as well. So Gordon, can you just let everyone know where to follow you on your social media platforms?
Yeah, sure. You can follow me on Facebook, a Facebook page, business page called Gordon Burcham. Look at the Facebook business page. We've got my LinkedIn as well, so I post on there, and Instagram as well. Follow Gordon Burcham on there, and please reach out. I love hearing back from people. One of the things that I love to hear if this has helped in any way. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, please reach out. And if you've got any challenges, please. I'm alive when I'm serving other people. And if you've got any challenges, reach out to me and I'll drop you a voice note or video back to you. Or if I can help in any way, I'm here to serve.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Absolutely love. I know you're super, super busy, and I really appreciate you taking time out today to come down to Coventry and do this podcast. So thank you, Gordon.
My pleasure. Take care. See you later.